Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a wonderful day. As always, likes, comments, and subscriptions are appreciated. A very big thank you to everyone out there who leaves a like every single video. I do thank thee. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. It says Bitcoin price surges by 6% to go above the $30,000 level. Yes, at the time of me making this video, the entire cryptocurrency market has, jumped up. Coins are anywhere between 6, 8, 12, 18, and in some cases 21% up over the last 24 hours. It says Shiba Inu breaks above, it's a lot of zeros, 0.000012. Bulls seem to be back in action. It says Cardano price analysis, coin value recovers back to 51 cents after a sudden bullish push. There was no explicit news per se as to why the cryptocurrency market has gone back up, is moving the current way that it is, but of course speculation is abound. It says Ethereum forms its third bullish daily candle reversal incoming. The amount of news, I do not have a lot of it here. The amount of news circulating around the Ethereum upgrade is absolutely insane because it is kind of the main topic taking form right now within the space. And you have both camps talking about all of this. You have the people who are saying that this is going to, and I'm not joking, going to revolutionize the cryptocurrency space, and Web3 is going to be the it thing of the future. Banks need to get on it right now because of production and creating, minting and staking and all this other kind of stuff. And then you have the other group of people who are talking about that Ethereum has taken too long, Solana is going to win, this coin is going to do it. I think the second camp is kind of detrimentally, hopefully thinking that something, will go in their favor. But as it stands right now, I am not a chartist. I know that's not what they're called. The people who read the charts all the time, an analyst of the space. However, the general idea is that Ethereum keeps forming these daily movements, these daily candles, that let them know that not only have people been accumulating, but the accumulation has kind of added up. We know who the mega whales are, and they are doing it in anticipation of being able to be essentially the only people to create Ether in the future. Money, 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 and all that stuff. It says imminent moves to the upside likely for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, according to a top analyst. Here are his targets. I think Ethereum is staying above $2,000. Solana, I don't really know. And for Bitcoin, it's that still daily close above $31,000, the same number that we got a couple of days ago. The general idea being if Bitcoin stays above, so say the chartists, above $31,000, and we maintain that position over the course of a 24-hour period. Therefore, Bitcoin is mega bullish once again and should be going back up, roughly based-esque on the same news that we got a couple of days ago from the analyst, I believe, at JP Morgan Chase, who also said that Bitcoin is currently hyper undervalued and should be near roughly around 40,000 US dollars. It says Bitcoin reclaims $30,000. Will Bitcoin's price catch up with the NASDAQ? Ha ha ha. I'm glad this is the first article I think I have ever seen. It's been at least years that has mentioned crypto and the stock market. We've had stuff before talking about that there might be a correlation. However, we know that it's there. Yes. Surprise, 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 the stock market has also risen as well. It says stocks rallied to end a 7-week losing streak. The S&P 500 logs best week since November 2020. It appears as if at the moment, first of all, the stock markets went up. Stock futures are currently going up. Our cryptocurrency market is going up. Hashtag correlation. The other point being, the news that we received from multiple banks was that while the stock market was going down, it appears as if investors were pricing in the interest rate rise from the Federal Reserve a little bit too much. The idea being they were pricing in a 0.75 rise when it appears that we are only going to be seeing a 0.50 rise within the next couple of days or something like that. I believe it is now scheduled to happen in June and in July, and will not be as rough of a plane ride as everyone was kind of expecting, and therefore it looks like stocks are moving upward. Also, apparently, because in Asia they're getting ready to do their whatchamacallit, their earnings reports, the same exact way that we saw them a couple of weeks ago in the States and in Europe, where companies basically come forward. This is how much we made this quarter. This is how much we made so-and-so. Here are expectations for the next couple of times. Something in my eye once again. I don't understand how I'm not moving. I'm sitting down. I don't get life. And as it stands right now, the largest economy in Asia has apparently begun to let people back outside. That's a nice way of formulating that sentence. And therefore, there's now a bullish idea that that economy might be recovering soon, sometime in the future, and the rest of Asia will also then recover, and this, in essence, trickles down onto the rest of everybody else. So, as it stands right now, the cryptocurrency market is in green. Stock markets are in green as well, and yeah, we'll see exactly what ends up taking place over the... it even says it right here. If you look at the mouse, where the mouse is moving, yeah, right around there. That's major news right now. If you haven't been paying attention to what that was or what's been going on, I would save yourself the literal heartache, because it's the most dystopian thing in the entire world. Yeah. So let's see exactly where the rest of the week takes us. I'm telling you, I'm still waiting for that 1st of June thing, where the Fed interest rates and they start. What's the other thing? Where they begin to sell off, allegedly, some of their trillions of dollars worth of assets that they've been buying to keep markets afloat. There was an analyst who was talking last point, who was talking about this entire thing that's been going on. I mean, everything from the last 2 years. And they were asking him, is he expecting a stock market crash, a recession, depression? And he was like, yes and no. He's like, any heavy market downturn that we will have will be short-lived, anywhere between 2 to 3 months, as opposed to a year and a half or 2 years. And he said he doesn't believe that the Federal Reserve is in the place to allow the entire economy to collapse. So it's one of two things. You either decimate the economy by raising interest rates, or you allow inflation to continue, but you just give it like a little bit of inflation. So you say, well, we had 9% before, now we only have 6%. It's not as bad. But eventually, over the course of 10 to 15 years, people who are at the helm of these organizations switch places. And then in 15 years, that the new guy can say, it's weird to talk about. The new guy can say, well, the other guy did it. It's not me. We just kind of have to deal with it. And that's what he thinks is going to happen. So he thinks there will be a drop, or maybe that was the drop. But it's kind of you can't have a recession or depression, especially when they know how to basically deter it. Yeah. What a weird time to be around, right? That's all the price news. And yeah, let's move on. In one of the popular news stories of the day that doesn't make any sense, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission has once again rejected yet another proposed rule change to list a Bitcoin ETF. The US SEC continues to deny applications for Bitcoin ETFs. The last one is a proposed rule change to list and trade shares of the One River Carbon Neutral Bitcoin Trust. The SEC has denied yet another application to launch a Bitcoin ETF on the 27th of May. The commission issued a notice rejecting the proposed rule change to list and trade shares under the New York Stock Exchange ARCA Rule 8.201-E. Sounds fantastic. I will say one thing. Golf clap for Bitcoin for not completely collapsing under this news. For those of you who weren't here over the last couple of years, every single time we got news that the US SEC had denied the creation, issuance, birthing of a Bitcoin ETF within the United States, Bitcoin's price would fall. And I mean heavy. It was this really weird, dramatic. It's kind of like someone being like, hey, do you want chocolate cake? And they're like, no, we only got vanilla. And then you fall on the floor screaming. Why Bitcoin's price kept on falling? It was clearly price manipulation by the whales, or simply people who didn't understand that the SEC is just a very special organization. So, yeah, first of all, golf clap for Bitcoin because the price didn't completely collapse. Second, this should not have ever been news because we knew that they were going to reject every single Bitcoin ETF until, I believe, a large amount of money on a table in a briefcase gets pushed over to someone, because that seems to be the only way that things are going to happen. Because once again, never forget, my friends, while the US SEC continues to reject Bitcoin ETFs, and I mean even a carbon neutral one that, you just assumed that that one was going to go through, the rest of the world has about 25 different Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, and there's still no dinosaurs coming out of volcanoes, because end of the world kind of thing. So yeah, cool. I hope it works out for them. We still have other companies just simply coming up north to Canada to, launch their own ETFs or buy into ETFs here because, money and logic. So this was one of the most popular news stories of the day. Good job, Bitcoin, for hanging in there. But I assume the correlation to the stock market is way too heavy now for Bitcoin to even actually care about that. And without further ado, yeah, let's move on. I'm not sure if you wanted a really weird news day, but that's what you're going to get. Crypto exchange Binance has recently received regulatory approval from Italy's financial regulator to operate as a cryptocurrency service provider within the country. They said clear and effective regulation is essential for mainstream adoption of crypto. This was said by Chang Peng Cao. Binance announced on Friday that Binance Italia has received regulatory approval through registration as a cryptocurrency service provider with the Organismo Agenti e Mediatori, I know I said that terribly, don't judge me, as required by the Italian legislation on crypto assets, the announcement states. The registration of Binance Italy allows the company to offer crypto products to its customers in Italy. I think that was self-explanatory. One, why, if you are the European United Union, not what they're called, why do you all have different regulatory things? It doesn't make any sense in my mind. I'm not really getting it. Two, this was one of the most popular news stories of the day. Why? I don't know. Sure, we got news that they are, I think, what is it? I think they're trying to get approved in Germany. They are approved, I think, in France and in Ireland, and they're trying to do it in Portugal. So basically, Europe. And they're getting those pieces of paper that say you can now work here because someone sat in an office and read your paperwork and printed out another piece of paper and put a red stamp at the bottom of it and then used a pen to sign it. Well, now you are legally able to do that, which is, I think, what we all really want. So, why this was the most popular news? Maybe there's a lot of people in Italy. Do I have a lot of Italian listeners? Ciao. Come stai? And all that stuff. Sure. Cool. I guess maybe it was, this was really popular. I'm not making a joke. This was incredibly popular news. What am I missing? I don't really know. But I mean, we also kind of get news that every single time that Binance gets regulatory approval, but it doesn't, it's not like the most exciting news in the world. So, woo! Apparently they're moving into the center of the Coliseum. See, that was a lie, but it sounded true for like half a second. That's the Binance is now legally able to work in another country in a union that doesn't have similar laws. And without further ado, yeah, let's move on. Also in please stop news, a Coinbase spokesperson asserted that the top 4 leaders are maintaining large positions in the exchange, that is Coinbase, demonstrating their commitment to the long-term opportunities. You'll get the tone of it in a couple of seconds. A Coinbase spokesperson asserted that the top 4, that was the exact same. Why did they copy and paste that? Co-founders Brian Armstrong and Fred Ersam, President and Chief Operating Officer Emily Choi, and Chief Product Officer Surojit Chatterjee have jointly ranked in $1.2 billion in proceeds from stock sales after going public earlier this year. I'm sorry, like it's sorry, okay, whatever. I was gonna get frustrated, but I'll tell you exactly what's going on. So when people create companies, they typically at some point will go to the SEC and to their local stock exchange and say, hey, we've gotten big enough. We've been around for 10, 12 something or odd years. Would you list us? And then they go through a listing process. And once again, that same woman, Carol, sitting in an office, takes out her pen and paper. She gives them a stamp. And they are then allowed to list on the stock exchange. What a lot of people don't realize is, and I want to say all the time, I won't even say often, I will say 100% of the time, people who've been in said company for so long were usually issued stock of the company when they were private. It happens all the time. Many of you may work for a company who is private. Maybe they're a startup. They've been around for a couple of years. At some point, after usually a year or maybe even instantaneously, they will give you stock in that company. This is not public stock. It is private stock that they own and are usually sitting on. The same exact thing happened for Facebook. Remember that story? Some of you must have heard of this. That guy who was asked to paint their walls for their first offices, and they were asking him, did he want stock or did he want cash? And he was like, I'll take some stock. And then the stock ended up being worth billions, and now he's one of the richest people on the planet. Fantastic. The same exact thing happens when you own a company, especially in the very beginning, and that company becomes gigantic. Why am I telling you all of this? Mainly because the top 4 people in Coinbase, after years of being with the company, and at the beginning of the year, because usually the transition is their private stock gets transitioned into public stock, and they go, hey, I like my salary of $150,000 per year. That's fantastic. But I feel like I deserve a little bit more. I have been working here for 12 years. So they go to usually a lawyer, because you can't simply do this on a whim, on the fly, any other term that people use to mean quick. And you talk to your lawyer and say, what amount can I actually sell to make sure that I don't crash the actual stock price? Because this is usually also in new contracts. And listen to every word that I'm saying. This is also in new contracts that also end up getting turned on when a company goes public. You have non-disclosure agreements. You are told, hey, your stock is going from private stock into public stock. You own, let's say, 1 million shares. You will legally not be able to sell all 1 million shares at once. You are only legally able to sell 5% at any given time over the course of a 1 or 2 year period in a staggering way. And then at the very end, should you decide to leave the company, you will then transition into so-and-so, and you still will not be able to dump all of your stock at once. Everybody still with me? I sincerely hope so. The news is that a lot of people are a little upset that the people from Coinbase jointly, 4 people, I'm holding up the number 4, sold $1 billion worth of their stock, roughly equating to around $250 million per person. Why did they do this? Remember what I said in the beginning? Because they've been with that company for a very long time. They feel like they deserve more money, and it's their stock that they've had for a number of years that has went from private to now public, and they sold it off because that's what everyone running a company does. Have you forgotten the amount of times that Jeff Bezos, when he was the head of Amazon, was selling off his stock? Or the guy from PayPal and all these other companies? It happens all the time. The news is, a lot of people are saying, well, the people from Coinbase have been dumping their stock. No, they're not dumping it. They're trying to get, and I will tell you this right now. If you were in their position and you knew that on a Monday coming into work, you could sit down with a lawyer, sign some paperwork, and make $250 million, do not lie to me in my face and say, no, I would not do that for the sake of the company, because we all know gosh darn well, if it was $3 million, you would do the exact same. So a lot of people are trying to ruffle feathers, are trying to make this a controversial topic. No, this happens every single time. All the time. Do you think that Elon Musk is just constantly sitting on Tesla and SpaceX stock and not moving any of his money? How do you think this man is paying for all of these things? How do you think he's trying to buy Twitter? His money is not liquid. He does not have $33 billion sitting in a bank account. So this was also one of the most popular news stories of the weekend. I saw it, brushed over it, kept on seeing it, and I was like, maybe some people need a refresher as exactly to how this works. These people, and I'll give it to you even more this way. You do not do this unless you have lawyers present. These people did not sell off millions of dollars worth of the stock that they own because they're trying to do a rug pull. I know that a lot of people in the space might be brand new, and they think that rug pulling is something that happens often, especially if you are a regulated company. It does not. That is not a thing. Because why? Lawyers, court, and the US SEC. I'm pretty sure they knew about this selling a long time ago. Like, you know how every single time when a company is doing something and we get news in like February that it happened, but we have an SEC filing from November that was going to take place. So yeah, people from Coinbase sold their stock because that's what happens. Nothing nefarious. No, Coinbase is not closing tomorrow. No, there's not going to be a handoff. And no, this was not anything illegal, because if it was, you stop it. You know that the US SEC would have bells on skipping down the street to announce that Coinbase had done something illegal. Anyway, that's the Coinbase news. I think more people need to go out and get some air, because a lot of the news is completely all over the place. And without further ado, let's move on. Also, oh my gosh, this was wild. Also in the news over the weekend, this was having a tussle with the US SEC rejecting a Bitcoin ETF news in the street. Like they were really hashing it out as the most popular news story. Over the weekend, Lunar, now Luna 2, I guess, airdropped the coins that they were talking about. Airdropping, you know, that whole thing. Over the course of the weekend, the price of said coins fell, because this is how it always happens. Every single time that we get news of an airdrop, the price of the coin goes up. And then when the airdrop happens, what happens to the coin? Right, exactly. People begin to sell off because they got their airdropped coin. People are angry that the airdropped coin is also falling in price and stuff like that. And I don't know what to even say. So this was also very popular news. I'm bringing it to you as a, hey, here's the news. Here's some stuff that happened. I would expect the price of the coin to have some wavy weeks, wavy months because of what happened. Don't expect this coin to skyrocket to 9,000%. especially as this is going to be a 2-year airdrop, as we have read. So I don't really know what to say because life, but yeah, the airdrop happened, and there are going to be more airdrops over a 2-year period. But for some reason, people thought that they would become instant multimillionaires overnight, and I just don't. Also in the news, El Salvador is also poking its head around in the cryptocurrency space once again. There were a lot of news articles this weekend about El Salvador, like in particular, and I'm not like, I get it, but it was more of I'll frame it to you this way. El Salvador adopted Bitcoin as legal tender. What has it been? A year at this point, roughly around there. This you would assume be mega news for the Bitcoin community, as they are lovers of Bitcoin. However, and I think whatever. There are a lot of websites that have Bitcoin in the name, not this one, but there are others who are writing negative things about El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as legal tender, even though their website name has Bitcoin in its title, which is leading me to believe that they simply bought a domain name or are trying to trick people into believing that they're a Bitcoin website while trying to get them also into another altcoin. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's say I'm looking at something blue. You made Blue Coin, and everyone around the world begins to love Blue Coin. And then Canada adopts Blue Coin as their national currency. Well, for first couple of months, it doesn't go really well. Blue Coin keeps going up and down because of the stock market. Everyone's like, where's Blue Coin going? And then you have a whole bunch of websites called like Blue CC or Blue Coin for me, or do you own Blue Coin? And they're all bad-mouthing the adoption of Blue Coin when they are Blue Coin supporters. That's what I mean. It just a little weird, but I've assumed for a while a lot of websites in the space are actually there to focus or hone on one coin that actually isn't Bitcoin, even though they named themselves after Bitcoin to kind of get the attention. Once again, not this website, not affiliated, but it's more of I've looked through their news many, many times. The point is, El Salvador bought more Bitcoin. I can't find the number anywhere. A lot of websites were saying, I mean, just the words a ton or a lot of Bitcoin. There was no specific number. I think we had news one time that they bought 100 Bitcoin, and that was supposed to be like this mega gigantic purchase. And sure, why not? So not surprised. MicroStrategy was also in the news today. I think it was Michael Saylor who announced, and I quote, "I'm always going to buy more at the top." Kind of I don't know, a joke to the idea that you're supposed to buy at the bottom and sell at the top. But he's like, no, we're never selling. We're only going to be buying. So kudos to those rich people for having enough liquid cash to be able to buy all the time. Also in the news that a lot of people aren't talking about, and this is like the weirdest thing in the entire world. On Thursday, Charles Hoskinson, who is the co-founder of, they've renamed themselves to IO Global, or Input Output Global, formerly known as Input Output Hong Kong, the company responsible for Cardano's research and development, talked about his recent trip to Washington, D.C., and then he shows some photos that are not very zoomed in, so you can't even see that he's really there. As he said, after various meetings with members of the U.S. Congress, he streamed live on his YouTube channel to update the crypto community in general and the Cardano community in particular on something very disturbing that he had discovered. Namely that Bitcoin maximalists have been lobbying U.S. lawmakers to create legislation that places regulatory obstacles in front of every crypto asset other than Bitcoin. Everyone jump into the time machine. For those of you who remember 2017, that was around the first time that we started getting news about people who were lobbying for crypto. It was kind of confusing because we were like, what are they doing? Why would they be doing that? Now, here's my opinion. This is mine alone. I've assumed for a long time The idea that we got information that only Bitcoin and Ethereum were not securities once again seemed a little bit weird to me. We spoke about that last week. You know, here's the criteria. Here's what other coins have to do. Other coins would match it instantaneously to not be called securities and therefore be commodities, what have you. But also remember the former head of the, once again, my opinion, the former head of the SEC launching a lawsuit against Ripple on his last day in office. Didn't that seem a little bit weird to anyone? I assume still currently, now this is not a past thing, I assume there's tons of money floating around between lawmakers, Congress people, people in the SEC, and maybe even the CFTC as well. It's simply because I'm going off of movies that I've watched. We've all seen that one person sitting in an office and they're like, okay, Bob, I can do that for you. And then they give a handshake, but it's like a dark room, so they can't really find each other's hands as they're trying to do the handshake. But this surprised me, but also seems completely honest and completely true. Hoskinson said, I did discover that certain members of the Bitcoin community are actively telling lawmakers to write into legislation that everything but Bitcoin is a security. To write into legislation every attempt possible to delegitimize or outright ban proof-of-stake cryptocurrencies. This was extremely disappointing and disheartening. How many of you believe this? Give me a show of hands. I cannot see your hands, but I am with you in spirit. My hand is raised. This seems like the most obvious thing in the entire world for me. The entire reason why I think we still do not have a list of coins that are not securities from the US SEC, the people who are tasked with protecting US consumers, is probably because of lobbying. I assume someone is pushing money around every single day. Like, think of that. Who are you talking to make sure that every coin but Bitcoin is a security? Who deals with securities? The entire idea of banning proof-of-stake cryptocurrencies also makes total sense in my head. All you would have to do is say, these are pre-mined, these are so-and-so, they are far too centralized. It makes, if you haven't been here for a long time, be wary because the space is rough. That's not a joke. If you've been here for a while and you've seen the hyper tribalism in the space, and I don't care which coin you're into, you know exactly what I'm talking about. People who love Tron really love Tron. People who like Ethereum think Ethereum's going to be the #1 coin on the planet. People who love Bitcoin tend to be a little bit intense in conversations, and they tend to ban or block other people who don't agree with the one coin idea. He said, I like to believe that despite that we have political differences or technological differences or financial incentives, that we would fight these things in the marketplace of ideas, in the marketplace of users and traditional competition. The attempt to the attempt to co-opt the U.S. federal government and legislation process to ban your competition is literally against the entire idea of Bitcoin. So he also, I mean, he says a lot more, and I agree with nearly everything that he said. But it makes total sense because I've had conversations over the years. I no longer go to cryptocurrency events. I used to go to them all the time. I thought they were very cool, nice place to meet other people. I had conversations before with someone about Dogecoin. I mean, this was eons ago. And I remember he was like, yeah, but what was it? Not waves. It was some other ridiculous coin. It wasn't WorldCoin. It was some old coin. He's like, yeah, but that coin is, you know, my coin's going to be the #1 coin. And I was like, well, you don't know that. I was like, Dogecoin isn't, this is years ago. I was like, Dogecoin isn't that bad. I was like, some of my friends are picking it up. It could go to $1 at some point. And I mean, he talked down to me as if I not even was his child. It was just a really weird conversation. And over the years, I've tried talking with people just to bounce off ideas. Nothing more. Why do you think Bitcoin's going to be the #1 coin? Why should Bitcoin be? But that to them is a direct attack, and they say not such nice things. This is why I've said before, and I'll say it infinitely. If you don't like my channel, please leave. I'd rather you not write nasty comments in the comment section to me or to anyone else who's watching, because it just doesn't make any sense. This is a protocol. This is a protocol that you did not invent. You were probably not sitting in the room making Cardano, making XRP, making Bitcoin, making Ethereum, or any of the other 50,000, the top 25 most popular coins. Why do you feel so strongly about something that you did not create, and not to be mean, that you probably do not own a lot of? Like, if you owned like 1 million Bitcoin, I get it. Like, that is, you are setting your family up for 9,000 generations worth of wealth. But besides that, I don't really understand. So this is the only website that I saw actually talking about that, and I thought that was quite interesting, because we all know that it's happening. We don't know who the people are, but I'm sure we can take a very strong guess. Whenever you see people at any of these conferences, really talking about that Bitcoin should be the only coin, So anyway, I wonder how much money is floating around behind the scenes that we simply cannot see, and not in a moving from bank to bank, invisible money kind of way, but how much money could have been allegedly pushed forward to make sure that Ethereum was not a security? How much money went into pushing it so that only Bitcoin and Ethereum were not considered securities? How much other money is floating around from banks? Remember, I always mention this. We had a lot of banks in 2020 and 2019 announce that they've been looking, wink, at Bitcoin since 2014. That tells me they were buying up very early. A lot of companies also announced that they've been looking into Ethereum since 2016. A lot of times you get these people announcing, saying, well, we believe Ethereum is Web3. It is, period, going to be the everything of crypto, second period. Same exact thing with Bitcoin. I wonder how much money is sloshing around from these banks and these institutions and these hedge funds to make sure that the prices of many altcoins stay down or collapse, or that stablecoin projects that look like they could overtake Tether also fall down as well. Yeah, kind of weird, right? So that's the Cardano creator news. I'm not really sure, but nothing about this surprises me. It's absolutely terrible, and we can be assured that it is definitely happening. I wonder how strong the cryptocurrency space would be if we had no more than 100 coins, because people weren't creating these other coins as ways to get extra cash, and we had like complete community backing around the top 20 coins. Like, I think Bitcoin's price would be near $1 million right now, but that's just life. Yeah, that's the Cardano not surprise news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in the news, which I saw no one talking about, and this is probably one of the more interesting things actually floating around. Here we go. Now, this is what the article says. This is not me talking this way. It says, imagine a throng of fashionistas as they file into a great glass dome. One dressed in an alien green corset. I don't know that aliens had a color. Another in a tight, furry dress likely derived from the pelt of a wild thing. It literally says wild thing. As each person enters the dome, the structure changes for them in real time. The woman in the furry dress looks up at a massive display and sees her own dress, along with an invitation to an exclusive talk with the item's designer later that afternoon. The man in the corset sees his own item on the same billboard, along with a flashing arrow pointing towards an immersive experience. Open arrow, what? Open only, wow, English. Open only to owners of his same collection. The dress and the corset were, until recently, purely digital outfits worn by the people's avatars in the metaverse. Then, physical versions of the outfits arrived in the mail, along with an exclusive invitation to, I believe this is pronounced Balmain's festival at a fashion Paris week. Such a premise might sound like a science fiction to some. To James Sun, co-founder of Mint NFT, the firm just tasked with architecting luxury fashion line Balmain's NFT campaign, it's a goal post for September. So apparently the idea is kind of like, for those of you who've been keeping track of the, not affiliated, the Nike NFT artifact kind of thing, and also the, I guess, the Adidas one as well, the idea being that you would not only have digital clothes in the metaverse or in augmented reality, but you'd also get that actual physical or digital NFT in the mail, as well as something physical to be actually able to be worn. Sun is attempting to establish the storied fashion house as a leader in what he claims is the next age of NFTs and Web3 business, one that's less focused on NFT drops and massive swings in speculative trading, and more concerned with immersive experiences and long-term relationships with customers. They basically kind of hint that they're going to be making their own platform, as the idea of dropping on multiple different platforms as a gigantic fashion brand seems a little bit weird. Here's the crazy part. The answer to such a dilemma, according to Sun, is what he and Balmain are calling the non-fungible thread, or an NFT, an ecosystem of digital, physical, and hybrid experiences built on Ripple's XRP ledger. Right. That's why I assume this would have been major news. I saw this here. Maybe, I don't even think I saw this on another website. So the news as it is right now, we got news that LVMH, Louis Vuitton, is deep diving into the crypto NFT space and the metaverse. Last week it was Balenciaga. We know about Nike. We know about Adidas. What was the other one? There was another big fashion brand who announced that they were accepting crypto as payment. Was it Gucci? I think it was them. I'm pretty sure it was Gucci who announced that they were. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Gucci. And now we have Balmain announcing unofficially that they're working on creating NFTs / physical NFTs with the XRP ledger. So I had assumption this would have been larger news. I'll give you my honest opinion. As far as things that I think that are going to make it, it may not be this precise project, but I'm certain that NFTs are not only going to make it, and I think in the fashion world, it's going to become a gigantic thing simply because there's too much energy being thrown at it from different companies at the exact same time. Typically, it's kind of like, for those of you who were here in like 2016, 2017, when I first started mentioning Bitcoin and stuff like that, I said one of the main reasons why I got into Bitcoin is because there were far too many rich people talking about it. And that was like a really big alarm for my head, because rich people don't talk about things openly unless it's kind of been decided in the background that this is going to be it. They're not talking about Bitcoin because they like the sound of it. They're talking about it because they've accumulated enough of it and they're trying to get everyone else to now get into the market as well. That's just how markets actually work. But the entire idea of over the last year and a half of fashion houses getting into NFTs and them not faltering on it, but I mean like really doubling down and creating more NFT projects and all these working on metaverses and stuff like that. I think it's my opinion going to, this will be it. Like this is going to be a thing kind of forever as long as we have the internet, especially when you have like actual interoperability. I know a lot of you may not be into fashion at all, what have you, but the idea of buying an NFT, being airdropped an NFT, you being able to wear that in a metaverse to show people that you have money clothing wise, and then you get like actual invitations for free to events around the world. These would sell out like hotcakes, especially if you end up going to that event in the actual physical item that you were. I mean, it's just a complete non-brainer. But also the idea of them using XRP's ledger. Yeah, it's interesting to see the evolution of the space and the evolution of the actual usage of XRP as well. Yeah, let's see how this turns out. I assume when this is a go-go, we will get more news on it because people will be talking about it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the only website that was actually talking about this. Fascinando. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. GBU Wally, Bubble Mode, How's Life Austin, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and let's move on. Empire Queen, Roman Gaba, Bitcoin, Ben Arachno, Dave, Tony Ambroski, The Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way Lay, Mobarazi, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grillet, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High XRP, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cole D, 3D, Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara, Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, and Crayola Michelle, URL. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. Very big thank you to everyone who left a like, who has commented, who has subscribed. I do thank thee. At the Memento, Bitcoin is currently up by 5.7%. We are literally where we were just about a week ago. 7 days ago, we were up by 0.49%. Really weird swings in this market. We are clearly still in, I just did like a little move. We are clearly still in some type of like a, what's it called? Not arrowed trend thing, moving within a triangle channel, that thing. It bounces up and bounces down until it kind of comes to a head and then either rises or falls, because that's, you know, how the market ends up working. But yeah, let's wait and see what the rest of this week has to bring price-wise for the stock market, because, you know, logic. Ethereum is at $1,900. It is up by 7% in 24 hours. That is completely wild. Binance Coin is up by 6 percentile points. Cardano is up by 11. Solana is up by 11. Dogecoin is up by 5. Polkadot is up by roughly 10%. Avalanche is not avalanching. It is up by 11%. Shiba Inu is up by 14%. Hot diggity dog. Polygon is up by 9.7%. Litecoin is up by 6%. Near Protocol is up by 13. Uniswap is up by 12. Stellar is up by 13 percentile points. Monero is up by 11. Chainlink is up by 11. Ethereum Classic is up by 6. Cosmos is up by 9. Algorand is up by 11. Flow is up by basically 11%. VeChain Thor is up by 8. ApeCoin is up by 11.5%. It had a really massive drop over the weekend. I don't understand prices anymore. Tezos is up by 11. Decentraland is up by 12 percentile points as well. Elrond eGold, Elrond is up by 15%. Internet Computer, which is the most special name in the world, is up by 8.9%. Qcoin is up by 9. Zcash is up by 12. Maker is up by 9. Theta is up by 12. Axie Infinity is up by 12 as well. The whole market's green. Would you look at that? I do hope that you've all had a great weekend. Yeah, I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope, oh boy, that was rough. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, supporting, liking, commenting. I don't know. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.